Welcome back to Tech Unpacked, the show where we dive deep into the tech stories everyone's buzzing about. I'm Mark Rear, your guide through the digital frontier. It's good to be back, Jenny.
And I'm Jenny, ready to ask the questions listeners are thinking. Today, Mark, we're talking about something Apple users have been waiting for. Well, forever it feels like. Siri and iOS 19.4. Or, shall I say, the new times Siri.
Oh, Jenny, this isn't just about Siri getting a little update. This is like Siri getting a brain transplant, a complete overhaul. We're talking a foundational rebuild from the ground up. It's a big deal.
A brain transplant. Tell me more. Because honestly, for years, it's felt like Siri was stuck in, 2012? While other voice assistants zipped ahead, becoming more and more, quote, human-like in their understanding. What actually prompted this drastic change, finally?
Exactly. You hit the nail on the head. Our research shows that for years, Siri was essentially operating with two brains, one for basic commands like setting a timer, and another, more experimental one, for complex queries. The problem? They didn't talk to each other very well. At all, really.
So, like a confused internal committee, each department doing its own thing, never communicating? That sounds inefficient.
A very accurate analogy. And this confusion led to massive instability. Our sources indicate that nearly one-third of commands would just fail, especially if they tried to bridge those two brains. It was, frankly, a bug-ridden mess. Greg Federighi himself, Apple's software engineering lead, reportedly said the initial merged architecture had unacceptable bug frequency. Not exactly a ringing endorsement from inside Apple.
Unacceptable bug frequency. Wow, that sounds pretty bad for Apple, known for its polished "it just works" image. And this was supposed to roll out earlier, right? With iOS 18?
You're spot on. The original plan was to introduce these advanced features with iOS 18. But the internal struggles, the instability, it forced Apple to hit the brakes. They postponed it. And now, the current projection, based on our research and internal whispers, is for a spring 2026 release, likely with iOS 19.4. Quite a delay, huh?
Spring 2026. That's a pretty significant delay. Is that a sign of trouble? Or a sign that they're taking it seriously? Or maybe both?
I think it's both, Jenny. It's a sign they bit off more than they could chew initially, perhaps underestimating the complexity of integrating these brains, and a sign they're not going to ship something they don't have confidence in. They've essentially scrapped that two-brain approach and are now building Siri from the ground up on a single, powerful, large language model, an LLM backbone. They're going all in on this new foundational tech.
An LLM backbone. Okay, for our listeners who aren't knee-deep in AI acronyms, what does an LLM do that's so different, and why is this the brain transplant you're so interested in?
Great question, Jenny. So imagine today's Siri is like a bunch of separate, small, specialized bots that know how to do one thing each. One sets timers, one plays music, another checks the weather. But they don't understand context across all of them very well. You have to be very precise with your commands. An LLM, or large language model, is like giving Siri a single, super smart, intuitive brain that can process and understand language in a much more human-like way. It learns patterns, contexts, and can generate more coherent and relevant responses because it's working as one unified system. It's about understanding, not just executing rote commands. Mike Rockwell, who leads Vision Pro development, has even been brought on board to help accelerate this, which tells you how important it is. Bringing in the big guns.
So it's not just about commands anymore, but actual comprehension? That's what people have wanted from Siri for ages. I mean, how many times have I repeated myself to Siri? Countless. So what kind of new capabilities will this smarter Siri actually have that we'll notice in our daily lives?
This is the cool part, Jenny. There are 3 big ones that have been delayed, but are now expected to be part of this 2026 rollout. First, on-screen awareness. Imagine Siri can actually see what's on your screen. You could say, summarize this article for me, or add this address to my contacts. And it understands the context of what you're looking at without you having to spell it out.
Whoa! That's a step change. No more reading off numbers or dictating text that's already in front of you. That would be incredibly convenient. As someone who copies and pastes addresses constantly from emails, that would save so much time. What's the second big one?
Second is cross-app functionality. This is huge. Instead of, "Hey Siri, open mail. Now compose a new email to Dad." The subject is flight info. Attach my flight details. You could just say, "Email Dad my flight info," and Siri would pull your flight details from, say, your calendar or a travel app, open mail, draft the email, and possibly even suggest sending it. It streamlines multi-step workflows, true automation for your everyday tasks.
Okay, that's genuinely what I've wanted my smart assistant to do for years. An actual assistant. One that anticipates. One that connects the dots. Not just a glorified button. If it can do that, it earns its assistant title. And the third?
The third is personalized responses. This is where it gets really interesting and potentially a little controversial for some users. Siri will be able to learn from your habits, your schedule, your emails, your messages, and give you proactive, tailored responses. Think, remind me to pick up my medication after the gym. And Siri knows which medication, based on your health apps, and when your gym time usually is, to set a smart reminder that pops up exactly when you need it. It anticipates your next move.
Personalized based on my personal data. Ooh, I can already hear the privacy alarms going off for some listeners, Mark. How is Apple balancing that promise of hyper-personalization with its well-known stance on privacy? Because that's Apple's whole brand, isn't it? Privacy first.
That's the tightrope walk, isn't it? Our research indicates Apple is heavily banking on-device processing, meaning a lot of this personalized data and the LLM models themselves will run directly on your iPhone, not constantly sending your private info up to Apple's servers. They want to maintain their differential privacy approach, where your usage patterns help improve the system, but your individual data remains private.
So keep the sensitive stuff local. That makes sense, in theory. But how far will that go? Our research even mentions biometric-powered personalization. Should biometric data, like heart rate or motion, ever feed into an AI assistant, even if it's on-device? What's the line there?
It's a valid concern, and one Apple will need to address transparently. They've historically been very cautious with health data, but the desire for a truly smart assistant pushes those boundaries. If Siri can sense you're stressed or anxious based on biometric input and then offers a calming exercise, that's powerful. You feel seen, understood by your device. But the how is everything, and the user needs to be in control.
Right. The potential for good is huge, but the potential for misuse, even accidental or just creepiness, is something Apple needs to nail down. And if they mess it up, it could really impact user trust. Let's shift gears a bit. Beyond just Siri on our iPhones, what are the broader implications here? This feels like it's setting Apple up for something much bigger than just a better voice assistant, doesn't it?
It absolutely is. This isn't just about Siri on your phone. This new LLM infrastructure positions Apple to seriously compete in the broader AI space. Think about API monetization opportunities for third-party developers if they get access to this enhanced natural language processing toolkit. Suddenly, every app could have a powerful conversational AI built in, seamlessly.
So independent app developers could make their apps smarter, more conversational, through Siri? That's interesting. Imagine your banking app finally understanding complex questions without needing to navigate a million menus. That would be a win. What about something like the Vision Pro? Does this new Siri play into Apple's AR/VR future, or is that a separate beast?
100%, Jenny. If Siri can see and understand what's on your iPhone screen, imagine that extrapolated to the Vision Pro or future AR glasses. It won't just be about voice commands, it'll be about multimodal interaction, eye tracking, gestures, voice, all converging. You could literally point at something virtual in your augmented reality and tell Siri to interact with it naturally, almost telepathically. This is Apple building the foundational AI layer for an ambient computing future where your devices anticipate your needs, not just react to them. They're laying the groundwork for a truly integrated, interconnected AI ecosystem that could span all devices, and even smart homes. It's a long game, and Siri is just the first, albeit crucial, piece.
A future where our tech feels, I don't know, closer to thinking with us rather than just waiting for commands. Maybe a very attentive assistant that knows us really well. It's exciting, but also definitely raises some big questions about our relationship with technology and data. So if listeners can take away one thing from today's discussion about the new Siri and iOS 19.4, what would it be?
I'd say this. Apple's taking Siri seriously, finally. The delays, while frustrating, signal a commitment to getting it right this time. This isn't just an incremental update. It's a complete architectural shift that could fundamentally change how we interact with all our Apple devices, pushing them towards true proactivity and awareness. And for those worried about privacy, Apple's on-device processing approach will be key to watch. It's a huge step for Siri, coming spring 2026.
Spring 2026. We'll be marking our calendars and eagerly awaiting that brain transplant. Thanks, Mark, for breaking down such a complex but important topic for us. It really clarifies a lot of the underlying issues and what Apple's trying to achieve.
Anytime, Jenny. It's been a blast. For all the latest in tech, breaking down the jargon, and helping you understand what's coming next, keep it locked here on Tech Unpacked. We'll catch you next time.
Until then, stay curious and maybe try to teach your current Siri a new trick or two, just for fun.